In today's video, I will compare the power levels of Goku against the most powerful ninjas in the world of Naruto. Goku at the beginning of the series only had 10 units of power because at that time, he still did not know how to use ki,
and only had brute force.
On the other hand, Naruto during the Chunin exams should have about 40 units of power. This is because as a genin, he can release chakra, or life energy, from himself, and use it in combat. Sasuke would have about 45 units of power, being a bit higher than Naruto. Finally, Sakura during the Chunin exams would have about 20 units of power. You may be wondering, how is it that Sakura can hurt Goku? Well, we must take into account that although Sakura is weak, vital energy, ki, or in the world of Naruto, chakra, would make her hits many times stronger. After training with Master Roshi, Goku learned to release ki beyond human limits and reached a power level of 180. On the other hand, Kakashi is an elite Jonin with a perfect command of his chakra. Even fighting in a relaxed way, he could really reach 200 units of power. Similarly, Might Guy could reach the same power level. Gaara, despite only being a genin, had a base strength of 150 units of power, though he possesses a much more terrifying hidden power. After this point in time, Goku trained with Karen and drank the water of the gods, reaching a power level higher than King Piccolo's, that being 260 units of power. By the end of Naruto Classic, Naruto and Sasuke had trained and learned new jutsus. Naruto, in his base state, was already at the level of a Chunin, with about 150 units of power, while Sasuke would have been about 160. However, Naruto, in the One-Tailed Cloak, would reach a power of 255. This is enough power to defeat King Piccolo. On the other hand, Sasuke with a curse mark would be a bit higher than Naruto, with 265 units of power. The power levels do not stop there. They can use different jutsus to increase their power, such as the Rasengan, which would help Naruto reach 300 units of power. And Sasuke, with his Chidori, could reach a whopping 310 units of power. Finally, Gaara, influenced by the Shukaku, would reach about 280 units of power. We are already at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z and Naruto Shippuden. Goku at this point had trained with Kami-sama, reaching 350 units of power. And by Raditz arrival, he had achieved 418 units of power. Now, Naruto and Sasuke were not far behind. Naruto, after training with Jiraiya for almost 3 years, had reached a power level of 200 units. Even though he was still a genin, Naruto had enough power to face the elite warriors of his world. In addition, Naruto could increase his power with the One-Tailed Cloak, that being up to 320 units of power. And with the Two Tails getting up to 420 units of power, equaling Goku's power. And finally, with the Three-Tailed Cloak, he would reach a whopping 520 units of power. On the other hand, Sasuke had been training with Orochimaru. A modest estimation of his base level would be placing him at 250 units of power. Then, when he uses the Three-Tome Sharingan, he would reach 500 units of power. Sakura also trained under Asani, but because she did not have any special powers, and I don't like her, I'll give her about 120 units of power in her base form. Kakashi also continued to train, in his base power rising to 300 units of power, and by activating his Sharingan, it would reach about 500 units of power. While in Tsunagakure, Gaara had become the Kazekage. His base strength would be at about 300 units of power, but using all of his power, he would reach 700 units of power, reaching the rank of Sannin. Naruto, with the Four-Tailed Cloak, would reach 800 units of power, being able to beat up Goku. However, let us not forget that Goku can still use the Kamehameha. Sasuke can also use powerful techniques, like Kirin, where he can use nature's energy. This attack is so powerful that it would match the special beam cannon reaching about 1,200 units of power. On the other hand, Orochimaru was already quite weak, mainly because his body was about to expire and he had to change it out for Sasuke's. I would give him about 700 units of power, and that would explain why he had so much trouble against Naruto in the four-tailed cloak, and why he was killed so easily by Sasuke. Now, if we talk about the Akatsuki member, Deidara, he was also at the level of Sanyu, with about 800 units of power, and that's why he was able to defeat Gaara. Kakashi, with a very well executed Kamine, could reach up to 900 units of power, and that's why he was able to defeat Deidara. With this dojutsu, he would probably even be able to defeat Naruto in the four-tailed cloak, so long as his technique did not fail. At this point, we see that all of these ninjas have surpassed our beloved Goku. Nevertheless, Kakarot is not a warrior who sits idly by. Goku, after his training with King Kai, became one of the most powerful warriors in space, getting to 5,000 units of power. So at this point, he would have beaten all of these ninjas senseless. Where it is true that Goku went to train with King Kai, Naruto also went to train on Mount Myoboku. And Naruto, in his Sage mode, can get energy from the planet, something like Genkidama, entering the legendary rank. Being very generous, we could give him about 2,000 units of power. Now Sasuke, after his fight against Itachi, had obtained the Mangekyo Sharingan. This is a legendary dojutsu that very few ninja possess, and raises his power level to 1,600 units. But is that their limit? No. Because this is the ninja world, jutsus are very important and give a power-up when used at an important time. Naruto, using the Frog Kata and the Rasen Shuriken, could reach 4,000 units of power, so long as his techniques hit their target. Such an attack would kill Raditz and leave Nappa on the verge of death. Similarly, Sasuke with the Susanoo would easily reach 3,600 units of power. In fact, I think that between Naruto and Sasuke, they could face Goku at this point. And so we come to the fourth Great Ninja War. This is where ninja power levels increased exponentially, leaving really powerful shinobi. But alas, it is time for us to end. And if you want a second part talking more about these power levels, let me know in the comments. Click on this video if you want to know more about dojutsus, and click on this video if you want another video about power levels. As always, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in another video.